Welcome to an episode of Chat Sports Talk, and welcome to Week 3 of the 2023 NFL season. That's right, we're starting to get into the NFL season. Some surprising teams right now are undefeated. Some surprising teams are winless right now. We did had one trade already happen this week. I'll get to that one a little bit later. And also maybe a little bit of a controversy between quarterback and coaching staff, and I'll get to that later as well. We'll kind of do a quick little review. Last week I went 9-7, which I improved from a week 1 of 7-9. So hopefully I continue that upward trend. I'll take a 1 win here extra, or try to see if I can maintain that. A lot of really good matchups this week to really start seeing the separation. A lot of teams, maybe teams that are looking to rebound to make that statement win. And let's just go ahead and kick it off with Thursday night's match. Over there in Santa Clara, California, as the 49ers play host to the G-Men and the Giants, who are without Saquon Barkley, more than likely. And right now the line has the 49ers at 10.5. The 49ers are against the Rams, but they're able to hold their own against them. There's a lot of questions about the Giants. A lot of questions. Can Daniel Jones and could Dabo repeat what they did last year? I don't know. I really don't. I think the Giants will make a few surprise moves here and there during this game. I do not think it'll be a 10.5 point victory. I'm probably more on the lines of probably a 7 to 9 point victory. But I do think the 49ers should be able to withstand any type of comeback, because get the ball to McCaffrey, let him run. He's almost out 300 yards anyways for the season. Purdy has been pretty. He's been Purdy. Mr. Relevance proven all the naysayers, and I think it gets it to Ayuk and Debo. He's got targets. The offense is run very well. The defense is doing its job. 49ers should be able to easily win and withstand any type of Giants comeback. Then we off to Sunday, and we head over to Cleveland, where the Browns will play host to the Titans. Both teams right now are 1-1. About where I think they should probably be at, but I think the Titans, I think Titans were 1-1. Who's better, Tannehill or Watson? Is it Derrick Henry or the Browns running back core? Amari Cooper, or I'm not sure who the Titans have for receiver. There's a lot of key aspects. Derrick Henry not being very impressive. He gets a lot of carries. He doesn't have a lot to show for it, because as soon as he gets the ball, half the defense is on him, which is what you should be doing with Derrick Henry. So not really too scary, Tannehill. Deshaun Watson, if he's flustered, he'll make mistakes. He did that against Pittsburgh with a very good defense the Steelers had. The Titans' defense is a decent defense. There's no question about that one. Cleveland's defense, I think, is a lot better. I went back and forth this one. Right now the line's 3.5 time this video. I tend to agree with that. I think it will be a close affair, and I will go with Cleveland as well. Then over to Motor City, where the Lions will play host to surprising 2-0 Atlanta Falcons. And Bijan Robinson has been one of the focal points, one of the bright stars. He's breaking ankles on receiving plays, running plays. He has been the anchor of this revitalized Dirty Birds. But don't overlook Detroit. Jared Goff is a very competent and poised quarterback. He already has 500 yards passing, over 550 yards passing, over 575 yards passing, and 4 touchdowns in 2 games. Their young running backs also very good himself. So I think and the defense is very young and talented. The Falcons defense is shown to be really resilient themselves. So this should be a really, really good game. I actually went back and forth on this one. Right now, the line is Detroit by 3. I think this is more of an even matchup between the two. But I'm going to give the edge to Detroit, even though I almost went with Atlanta on this game, but I'm going to give the edge to Detroit because they're going to try to not fall 0-2 at home already. And Jared Goff wants to defend the den and make sure the Lions reign supreme in the Motor City. Up to Green Bay, where the Packers will come home and face the New Orleans Saints, led by Derek Carr, with over 530 yards passing, but he's not finding the end zone. And the Packers defense is good enough to withhold anything. Right now, Green Bay's favored by 2 because they're not too sure about Jordan Love's ability to blossom. He had an opportunity to win the game in Atlanta, fell short. But as long as they can, go with Aaron Jones in the running attack, rely on that good offensive line, rely on that good, solid defense the Packers have, they should have no worries. Right now, it's a 2-point line for the Packers. I think it's more about 3, but I will also go with Green Bay. Then we head down to South Beach, where the 2-0 Dolphins play host the 0-2 Denver Broncos. And Denver tried to come back against Washington, had that Hail Mary pass, just couldn't convert that two-point play. Russell Wilson is doing things as he should. Maybe he could have done a little bit better that first week, but it's growing pains with the new system, actually playing the game. So this should be a game where you probably should see if Russell and Sean Payton can actually work together to get this team moving forward. The defense needs to step up. But they have a hard challenge ahead of them with Tua Tagovailoa, Tyreek Hill, Waddle, Mostert. It's a beast of a Dolphins offense. The defense is no joke either. I think Tua should have another excellent game, probably another 2 touchdown, 1 interception game. Probably about another 300 yards, as I think Miami should have no problems. Right now, the line's 6.5. I completely agree with that. I think Miami's will just obliterate the Broncos. Interesting matchup up there in Minneapolis as the 0-2 Minnesota Vikings play host to the 0-2 LA Chargers. 2 playoff favorites. A lot of them sometimes divisional favorites. Have yet to win a game this season. Minnesota actually had a trade with the Rams to get Cam Akers to come over, trying to help that running attack, because they let Delvin Cook walk. And the running back they have is not filling the shoes. Kirk Cousins has been phenomenal as the quarterback. Over 700 yards, 6 touchdowns. That's amazing. 300 yards and 3 touchdowns a game. And has yet to win. The emphasis on Minnesota is the defense. They are allowing way too much. Enter the Chargers, another team that has yet to really do anything. Justin Herbert's been looking kind of robotic in the backfield, kind of forces things he shouldn't be forcing. Kelly's been a bright spot in that running attack, but he's not being used a lot. Maybe that's the Kellen Winslow type of offense being run. But their defense also not stepping up, and the defense has some talent as well with the Bosa and Khalil Mack, and they're just not holding teams accountable. And I actually went back and forth on this one. Right now, the line is 1. I think before I looked at this earlier, it was even. It's going to be a very even game. I think the trade for Akers tilted a little bit for Minnesota's favor. I'm going over the Vikings as well. I think they'll try to avoid going 0-2 already at home. And they need this one to stay intact with that North Division race. Then we head to MetLife, where the Jets will play host to the Patriots in a big-time AFC East showdown. The Patriots are 0-2 right now. It's not really on the offensive side because Mac Jones, almost 550 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So about where you want him at. The Jets had some quality players, in Breece Hall and Wilson. They got their focal points, but Breece Hall has yet to find the end zone. Also, Delvin Cooks made his appearance known over there. But you have Zach Wilson, who's kind of looking like Zach Wilson of old, just not making the right reads or overshooting. He had some great reads in Buffalo, and then when he took on the Cowboys, it was a totally different beast, but the Cowboys' defense is no joke. The New England does have a very talented defense coming in as well. That should give the Jets enough worries. Because it's not Aaron Rodgers in charge and piloting the Jets, it's Zach Wilson. I have the feeling that the Jets will sputter throughout this, probably remain grounded most of the game, and I will give it to New England to get their first win of the season. Then we head over to the nation's capitals with the undefeated Commanders are taking on the 101 Buffalo Bills. The Commanders have been looking phenomenal in their 2 games thus far. I mean, they had a little struggle against Arizona, but Arizona's defense actually looks competent. Then they took on Denver, and they withheld there. This is going to, I think, be their first true test, and I think Allen, Diggs, and Cook will be the 3-headed monster. The Commanders will not be able to know which one to go after. Right now, the line is 6.5. I think it will be closer. Josh Allen likes to throw picks, so let's keep that in mind. He will keep the Commanders in the game, but Buffalo's talented enough to withstand that, and they should easily get past them. But it will definitely be closer than 6. I'm almost tearing going with a 3-point victory. The Buffalo having making a fourth quarter comeback, but the Bills win. Then you got the Texans heading over to Jacksonville in a key AFC South showdown. C.J. Stroud right now for the Texans, showing a very capable, balanced quarterback. 300 yards passing, a touchdown every game. He needs to increase the touchdown passes, but you got to look who he has available. Not much. This is a very, very young team, but they have pieces in place that really help them out. The Jaguars, they bounce back from their debacle last week against the Chiefs where they couldn't get anything going. The receivers got to make sure to keep their feet inbounds when they make catches. But I think Jacksonville should be able to bounce back, avoid going 0-2 early in the season, give the Texans their 3rd straight loss, and I'm taking the Jags. Then we have the Colts heading back home to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. In case most of you don't know, the Colts originally was founded in Baltimore and then left in the middle of the night and moving vans to Indy back in the early 80s. But you have Lamar Jackson taking on Richardson. Now, Richardson, I don't know if he's playing or not because he did have a concussion last week, so they may sit him this week, and they may not. If I was the Colts, I would just keep him on the sideline, preserve him. The Colts are quietly have themselves a nice little team out there in Indianapolis. And this is a game that I think Baltimore really needs to really establish their dominance in the NFC North. The fact that the Bengals are struggling, they need to take control. Right now they're 2-0, so they have that advantage to them. I think they should be able to win this. Right now the line is 8 in Baltimore's favor. I think it will be closer than that as well. I think it might be more of a 6-point victory, but I will also give it to Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Then we head up to the Pacific Northwest with Seattle Seahawks and play host to the Carolina Panthers and Bryce Young. Geno Smith has proven that he has resurrected his career up there in Seattle underneath Pete Carroll's tutelage. Having DK Metcalf as one of your receivers really helps you out. The defense is good. It's not the Legion of Boom. It's not really a Legion of Gloom either. But it is a decent defense. They got embarrassed by the Rams the first week of the season. Bounced back in Detroit. Escaped there. I think they should have no issues with Carolina. Right now it's a 6-point advantage for the Seahawks. I like that. I'm also going with the Seahawks. Then we head over to Arrowhead, where the Kansas City Chiefs will play host to the Chicago Bears. Now, recently, Justin Fields saying his play was robotic, and he originally stated that he was coaching. So it looked like he was blaming the coaches for his play ability. He then later recanted that, saying that I'm not blaming the coaches. He's not totally wrong, but it's also on him as well. He needs to make the reads quicker. He needs to get the ball out quicker. He hangs on the ball way too long. If you hold the ball way too long, you're going to get sacked. That's just how things happen. He needs to make these decisions quicker. He needs to work on the timing better. If that means he needs to run a little bit more, do it. He's a 1,000-yard rusher last year and kind of gave Chicago some glimpses of what could possibly happen. Now, I am not a big proponent of a huge running quarterback. Look at Cam Newton. He spent a lot of times running, and he paid the price for it. There's times to be a mobile quarterback. I completely understand that. Like Lamar Jackson, he is a mobile quarterback. Josh Allen, a mobile quarterback. You don't necessarily need to be a pocket passer. You need to be a mobile quarterback, and that's what you need to do. They need to do it where you're able to move just around to offset the inabilities of the offensive line blocking to create the space needed for his receivers to get open. Good luck against the Chiefs. Jones will be in the backfield quicker than Justin Fields can really think what he's going to have for dinner. He's going to be making his acquaintance felt, and the Chiefs, as I think I said in my last video, in my recap, are going to come out with some new bearskin rugs. They are favored by 13 points. I don't see any difference. The Bears are going to get decimated by the quarterback they should have drafted. It's the Trubinsky, but yeah, it's going to be Chiefs all day long, and the Bears are going to go 0-3. Then we head to the desert where the Cardinals will take on the undefeated Cowboys. And this brand new doomsday defense in Dallas, the dominant defense, the defense of death, the dehumanizing defense. I mean, you throw in the superlative with that defense, and it fits. This defense is no joke. Dak seems to have a new lease on life right now in the backfield. Being very efficient. I mean, almost 400 yards, only 2 touchdowns. But it really doesn't have to. CeeDee Lamb, 220 yards. On his way, definitely to be a 1,000-yard receiver. But no touchdowns. Arizona's defense is no joke. So it'll be a little struggle for him to find some key pieces here and there. Right now, Dallas is favored by 12. I think Dallas will be able to figure out the code to beat the big red defense and be able to score points. I like the odds going to Cowboys. Then Sunday night, the Steelers will head to the bright lights of Vegas and take on the Raiders. Can the Pittsburgh Steelers offense find something? Last week they had 1 offensive touchdown in the victory. 1. Against San Francisco, the offense was not there at all. The defense didn't have a choice, a chance against all those weapons that the 49ers had. The defense showed up last week, opened up the scoring with a pick six, and ended up with a scoop and score. The defense is going to be a huge factor in this one. The Raiders' defense last week was pretty much non-existent. If the Steelers' offense can be somewhat effective and get Najee Harris more opportunities to establish the run, he only has 74 yards in 2 games. That's a big disappointment. Kenny Pickett is a very good quarterback. Pickens, very good receiver, and they can work on that connection and try to find some other plays to spread out the ball so that way Pickens can get open because you have the ball being spread out, or Najee Harris runs it more. We take on Josh Daniels or Josh McDaniels and Jimmy G and Devontae Adams. There's some weapons there with the Raiders. Max Crosby needs to show up on that defense. Right now, Vegas is favored by 2.5. Going Pittsburgh. I think the Steelers' defense is going to be slightly better. I think Steelers' defense, once again, is going to lead the charge for the victory. I think it's going to be a close game, but I'm going Pittsburgh. And Monday night, another double header. We'll kick things off out there at Raymond James as the undefeated Buccaneers take on the undefeated Philadelphia Eagles. Baker Mayfield has quality put together a nice little resume right now in just 2 games as the Bucs QB. Almost 500 yards and 3 touchdowns. Swift has found new life as a Philadelphia running back. Over 170 yards rushing, but only has 1 score. Jalen Hurts is still a phenomenal threat. He still has receivers he can throw to. Mike Evans has showcased why he should be paid. Tampa Bay said they're not picking it up. They're going to regret this one, especially if him and Mayfield really connect, and they're starting to. That defense is really good as well. So is Philadelphia's defense is kind of retooled and starting to find their place as well. So there should be a really good matchup between these two. Right now, Philly has a 5-point edge. Time in this video. I think it's going to be closer. I really do. I really think it's going to be a really good matchup between these two. And I really think that it's going to be a 1 to 2 point advantage. I think it's going to be like a missed field goal. And that's going to be it. It's going to be the reason for this game going in one direction. Fly, Eagles, fly. I'm going with the Eagles, Jalen Hurts. This is going to be a true test to them, much like the Dallas games they got coming up. So, but I like Philadelphia in this one. And then the second game, we'll head to the jungles of Cincinnati as the Bengals play host to the Rams. The winless Bengals. So, almost going back to the Bungles. Joe Burrow last week re-aggravated his calf injury. They said he was going to go back in if the Bengals had the ball again. He's not been ruled in or out for Monday's action, so he has a little extra day to kind of rest that calf and see how he goes from there. But believe me, that's not an easy thing to come back from. It will be a nagging injury for the rest of the season. The Rams defense still look pretty solid. You see that they actually put up with 49ers and all those offensive weapons and was pacing with them. Matthew Stafford is still a very competent quarterback. Over almost 650 yards already this season. He's not throwing a lot of touchdowns because not having Cooper Kupp is kind of hampering things a little bit. The running attack has been kind of an issue as well. So I'm kind of going back and forth on this one. Right now, Cincinnati's favored by 3. Because of the Joe Burrow's question mark, I'm going to take the Rams to surprise Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati's going to find themselves in an unusual hole right now. Not since, Burrow's rookie season have they been, in this type of position. But they're going to struggle, I think, to find success this year. Nothing against them. But I think the Burrow calf injury is going to play a huge factor in this. It's probably going to limit some things he's going to do. But I will give the Rams a slight edge in winning the Monday night matchup. Well, there you go. Those are my picks. I did come on the edge on a couple of them. Those are the late games, Sunday game and Monday night games. Most of these, I think, are a coin toss, so you can go 50-50 either way because the lines are so close and so narrow that you could decide. You can go either way with them. I'm hoping I can get about an 8 week. There we go. Boy, try to say that 3 times fast. Or just say it 1 time correctly. Anyhow, but like I said, those are my picks. Let me know down below which game you look forward to this coming week. Like I said, I think that Chargers-Vikings game should be really good. The Monday night games should be excellent. Even the Sunday night game should be really good. Which pick do you think I got wrong? Just let me know down below. Once you're down there, go hit that thumbs up for me, especially that content provider. It really pushes YouTube guys. It really helps promote this video out. You also subscribe. About 90% of you are not subscribed. That doesn't cost you a dime. Just go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Once you do that, you tap that bell icon, turn notifications, and let's see you next time I post any more content on my channel. And I'll see you next time on Chat Sports Talk.